Fans want Luffy to grow up, but if growing up means becoming more serious, we might be fixing something that was never broken. The strongest criticism isn't that Luffy laughs too much, acts goofy, or refuses to behave like a traditional leader. Is that sometimes his decisions put people at risk when the situation demands more awareness. And those are two very different things. Luffy can make more mature decisions without becoming a more serious person. That is where this debate gets very interesting.
But wait! There's more!
Luffy is not the rookie who first sailed out of East Blue anymore. People trust him. Crews follow him. Entire nations have depended on him. And he is getting closer to a goal that carries enormous influence, whether he wants that responsibility or not. So when Luffy charges into danger, ignores obvious risk, or treats a serious moment casually, some viewers no longer see charm. They see someone who should know better by now. That doesn't mean that they want Luffy giving leadership speeches. They just want evidence that experience has changed his judgment. If years of consequences never affect how he makes decisions, then eventually the phrase, "that's just Luffy," can start sounding less like character consistency and more like an excuse to keep him frozen in place.
That is not true.
Now this is where the other side has a very interesting point. If every sign of maturity has to look like seriousness, then we are not really asking Luffy to develop. We are asking him to become someone else. His silliness is not just a decoration, it is tied to the thing Luffy values most: freedom.
Yeah, boy.
He doesn't inspire people by acting like the most responsible person in the room. He inspires them by being completely himself. That is why expecting the future Pirate King to become a conventional, grown-up leader may actually misunderstand what Pirate King means to Luffy. For him, it has never been about becoming the man with the most rules. It is about becoming the freest person on the sea.
That's what I'm talking about!
Now let's pause for a cause, because this channel, Anime Source Central, explores why anime and manga fans argue, judge, and get so emotionally attached to the characters or stories they love. So if you find that interesting, then hit the subscribe button.
Do it!
Gear 5 makes this debate even clearer, because some fans see the laughing and the bouncing and the absurdity and think Luffy has become too childish for the stakes around him. But that freedom and ridiculousness are part of what Gear 5 represents. The problem is not that Luffy is having fun, it's whether the story can let him keep that freedom while still allowing serious moments to carry weight. Because maturity does not mean losing joy. Luffy can still be impulsive, playful, and ridiculous while learning that some choices affect people who depend on him. That is the kind of growth that will actually fit his character.
Thank you!
Now there can be another possible reason why this argument gets so emotional. Because some One Piece fans have spent years, sometimes decades, with Luffy. That audience would have grown older. Their responsibilities change. Their idea of maturity change. And that might be one of the reasons why that some fans now look at Luffy and wonder why he hasn't grown in the same way they have. But Luffy has never represented conventional adulthood. In many ways, he represents the part of adulthood people are often told to lose. The freedom to laugh loudly, ignore status, look ridiculous, and chase something simply because it matters to you. So when fans say Luffy needs to grow up, sometimes the possibility may be that they may be placing their own definition of adulthood onto a character built around rejecting those expectations. The opposite reaction can just be as interesting. Some fans have spent so long loving a very specific version of Luffy that development itself can feel dangerous. If he reacts differently, thinks something through, or shows more restraint, it can immediately feel like That's not Luffy, and that creates a problem. If every meaningful change is treated as character betrayal, then Luffy is never actually allowed to grow. The challenge for One Piece is not keeping him exactly the same forever. It is allowing experience to change him in ways that still feel unmistakably like Luffy.
Same, but different. But still same.
So would growing up ruin Luffy? Only if growing up means sanding away everything that makes him Luffy. He does not need to become more serious just to prove he has developed. But remaining recognizably Luffy should not mean remaining untouched by everything he has experienced. The best version of his future is somewhere between those extremes. Still laughing, still impulsive, still Luffy, but wiser about when his choices affect the people who trust him. Maybe it is that he learns when to make the mature decision without ever losing the kid inside him. And another interesting debate under One Piece is whether or not it is a political series. We talk about that in this video. So see you there, and thanks so much for watching, and that's it. I'm gone.